Dr. Elena Marquez stood at the center of the Galactic Academic Council's crystalline chamber, her holographic slideshow casting vibrant images across the vast amphitheater. The room, designed to host representatives from 53 star systems, buzzed with anticipation. Elena, a renowned xenobiologist from Earth, had been invited to present humanity's unique approach to interspecies relationships. Her first slide displayed a young girl laughing as she tossed a ball to a golden retriever, its tail wagging furiously. Humanity, Elena began, her voice steady despite the hundreds of alien eyes fixed on her, has spent millennia forging bonds with other species on our planet. These relationships, not merely utilitarian, but deeply emotional, built on mutual respect and affection. The chamber was silent, save for the faint hum of translation devices processing her words into 47 distinct languages. High Counselor Vrin, a towering figure with 6 luminescent eyes, leaned forward, her ceremonial staff glowing faintly in her grasp. Dr. Marquez, she said, her voice resonating through the chamber, please elaborate. What exactly do you mean by emotional bonds? Elena clicked to the next slide, showing a tabby cat curled up on an elderly man's lap. This is a domestic cat, Felis catus. Cats have lived alongside humans for over 10,000 years, choosing to cohabitate with us for mutual benefit, pest control for them, companionship for us. A sharp gasp echoed from the Veltari delegation, their crystalline forms flickering with distress. Chose, whispered Dr. Solara, the council's lead xenopsychologist, her 3 antennae twitching. You imply these creatures have agency in their relationship with humans? Absolutely, Elena replied, her enthusiasm undimmed by the growing tension. Cats are semi-wild, retaining much of their independence. They select their human companions as much as we select them. The chamber erupted into murmurs. Commander Thaler, a grizzled warrior from the Kravok system, clutched his personal oxygen unit, his scales paling. Voluntary cohabitation with a predator species, he muttered. This defies all known biological imperatives. Elena, oblivious to the mounting unease, advanced to a slide featuring a German shepherd in a search and rescue vest. This is Luna, a working dog trained to locate missing persons in disaster zones. Her scent detection is 10,000 times more sensitive than a human's, and she's saved 67 lives in her career. The holographic display shifted to show Luna leaping through rubble, her handler cheering her on. The Krillian delegate, a gaseous entity, contained within a shimmering field, pulsed erratically. You integrate these predators into your societal structures? It asked, its voice a synthesized hum. Yes, Elena said, smiling. Dogs, like Luna, serve in law enforcement, therapy, and even military roles. Their loyalty and intelligence make them invaluable partners. The chamber fell silent, the kind of quiet that precedes a storm. High Counselor Vrin raised a trembling hand. Dr. Marquez, are you saying humans have domesticated predatory species and incorporated them into your governance and defense systems? Elena tilted her head, puzzled by the intensity of the reaction. Well, yes, but it's not just dogs. Horses, for example, transformed human warfare and transportation for centuries. Even today, we use them for therapy and sport. A new slide appeared, showing a rider guiding a horse through a forest trail. The horse's muscles rippled under its glossy coat, exuding raw power. Dr. Solara's antennae drooped. That creature weighs over 600 kilograms and could crush a humanoid with a single kick, she said faintly. And you ride it. It's about trust, Elena explained. Horses are intelligent and sensitive. With proper training, they form deep bonds with humans, choosing to work with us. The delegates exchanged glances, their expressions ranging from disbelief to outright panic. Research lead Corin, a multi-limbed scholar from the Zenari system, scribbled furiously on his data slate. Dr. Marquez, he said, his voice tight, how many species have humans domesticated? Elena paused, considering, if we're talking full domestication, genetic modification through selective breeding, about 50 species. But if you include semi-domesticated or closely associated species, the number could be in the thousands. It varies by culture and region. The sound that followed was like a collective intake of breath across a dozen species. Thousands, Commander Thaler repeated, his oxygen unit hissing. You formed alliances with thousands of species. Well, not alliances in a political sense, Elena clarified, clicking to a slide of a beekeeper tending a hive. Take bees, for instance. We've partnered with them for millennia for honey production and crop pollination. It's a symbiotic relationship. They get protection, we get food. Symbiosis with insects, Corin muttered, his limbs trembling. They create ecosystems for mutual benefit. Elena nodded, moving to a slide of a child hugging a bear cub at a wildlife rehabilitation center. And then there's Ursus americanus, the American black bear. This is Teddy, raised by humans after being orphaned. He's now a therapy animal, helping children with trauma. The chamber exploded into chaos. Delegates dove behind podiums, energy shields crackled to life, and emergency lights bathed the room in amber. High Counselor Vrin's staff glowed brighter as she shouted, "Lockdown. Initiate lockdown protocols." Elena blinked, her remote frozen in her hand. Is something wrong with the projector? I can skip to the marine mammals if... Marine mammals. Dr. Solara shrieked, half hidden behind a chair. There are more. 45 minutes later, the xenobiology department's laboratory was a hive of frenetic activity. Holographic screens flickered with Earth's biological data, and the air was thick with stress pheromones. Dr. Solara stood at the center, her antennae twitching as she gestured at a display showing a human child napping beside a purring cat. "Look at this," she said, her voice edged with hysteria. "The feline possesses claws that can shred flesh, night vision rivaling our best surveillance tech, and reflexes that defy physics. Yet this human juvenile uses it as a pillow." Research lead Corin, his data slate overflowing with notes, pointed to a new image, a Rottweiler pulling a cart. "This breed was engineered to control animals 10 times its size," he said, "and humans. Keep it in their homes." Professor Liam Chen, the human cultural liaison, stepped forward, his calm demeanor a stark contrast to the chaos. "If I may," he said, "I think you're misunderstanding the nature of these relationships. That Rottweiler is likely a family pet, known for loyalty and gentleness with children." "Gentleness," Corin repeated, his limbs flailing. "It could crush bone with its jaws." "It could," Liam agreed, "but it chooses not to. Dogs view their human families as their pack. They protect us because they love us." The word love silenced the room. The concept was alien to many delegates, whose languages lacked equivalents for emotional attachment across species. Dr. Solara's antennae froze. "Love," she whispered. "You form lifelong bonds with predators because of an emotional state. It's more than that," Liam said. "It's mutual respect, trust, and companionship. Take horses, for example." He gestured to a new display of a rider and horse in a dressage competition. "This partnership requires years of training and mutual understanding. The horse could easily throw the rider, but it doesn't because it trusts them." Corin's a slate clattered to the floor. "Trust," he muttered. With a 600-kilogram herbivore capable of lethal force, Commander Thaler's holographic projection flickered into the room. "Professor Chen, are you saying humans have bred animals too?" "Protect them." "Not just protect," Liam clarified. "Dogs assist in everything from therapy to disaster response. Cats reduce stress and even detect medical conditions like seizures. Even pigs, highly intelligent omnivores, are kept as pets or raised for food, with some cultures revering them." "Pigs," Solara said faintly. "They domesticate omnivores with complex social structures, and they respect them," Liam added. "Human laws protect animal welfare. The Animal Welfare Act, for instance, ensures ethical treatment across species." The room fell silent as the implication sank in. Dr. Eloria, head of the Cultural Exchange Program, stepped forward, her expression grim. We need to discuss the broader implications, she said. If humans form these bonds out of empathy, not dominance, our entire classification of their species is flawed. Flawed, Corin snapped. This suggests a level of interspecies empathy we've never encountered. It challenges every model of biological interaction we have. Liam smiled. For humans, it's just life. We share our planet with millions of species. Cooperation is more effective than competition. High Counselor Vryn authorized a covert mission to Earth to observe human-animal interactions firsthand. Captain Zara Nguyen, a former Special Forces operative, was walking her border collie, Jasper, through Willow Creek Park when she noticed a faint shimmer near the trees. Her military training kicked in, and Jasper's ears perked up, his nose twitching. Interesting, Zara murmured, scratching Jasper's head. Looks like we've got company. 50 meters away, hidden behind a cloaking field, research lead Corin and his team junior researcher Vixel and xenobiologist Dr. Tartan were in a state of near panic. Corin adjusted his recorder, whispering, observation log, time index, 1500, location, Willow Creek Park, multiple humans with domesticated predators. Vixel's eyes widened as Jasper sprinted toward a group of dogs. Chasing a frisbee, the human has released the creature. He hissed, it's forming a pack. Doctor, Taryn shook her head. Not a pack, they're playing. Look at the body language relaxed, non-aggressive. The database identifies this as recreational behavior. Across the park, Dr. Maya Patel, a veterinarian, arrived with her Labrador, Coco, who bounded into a pond to fetch a stick. A teenager, Sam, clapped and cheered as Coco swam back, shaking water onto the grass. Corin's recorder whirred. The creature enters water voluntarily, he noted, for enjoyment. They're discussing the animals, Vixel observed, listening through their translation device. Fragments of conversation drifted over. Coco's training is going so well. Jasper learned to close doors. The vet says Max's hip is healing. Nussly, they provide medical care, Taryn said, stunned. They treat these creatures like family. Suddenly, Zara's voice cut through their cloaking field. Nice tech, she said, standing mere meters away, Jasper wagging his tail. But it doesn't mask scent. Jasper picked you up 5 minutes ago. Corin fumbled his recorder, his limbs trembling. How did you? Special Forces, Zara said with a grin. Plus, Jasper's a retired search and rescue dog. He's trained to detect anything unusual. Search and rescue, Vixel whispered. This creature has professional training. And therapy, Zara added, patting Jasper. He helps with my anxiety. His presence regulates my stress hormones. Tarn's data slate glowed with notes. Captain Nguyen. How widespread are these relationships? Zara, shrug. About 70% of human households have at least one animal companion. Dogs, cats, birds, reptiles, you name it. Globally, there are probably 1 billion dogs alone. 1 billion, Corin repeated, his voice hollow. Jasper approached Vixel, tail wagging, and gently nudged his hand against his better judgment. Vixel reached out, his fingers brushing Jasper's fur. It's warm, he said, awestruck. That's part of the bond, Zara explained. Petting releases endorphins for both human and dog. It's mutual, Taryn echoed. You're describing a biochemical emotional exchange. Zara smiled as Jasper leaned into Vixel, who was now tentatively petting him. It's more than that, it's love. The Galactic Academic Council reconvened at 0900 Galactic Standard Time, the chamber packed with delegates from every corner of the galaxy. High Counselor Vryn stood at the podium, her staff pulsing with energy. Behind her, a holographic display showcased footage from the Earth mission, Jasper playing frisbee, Coco fetching a stick, and a child hugging a therapy bear named Macha. Delegates, Vryn began, the evidence is undeniable. Humans have not merely domesticated other species, they've created a global network of emotional and functional partnerships. Dr. Solara, still shaken from the lab session, presented the field data. We observed animals displaying affection toward humans, seeking physical contact, and even providing emotional support. This creature, she pointed to Jasper, who was now lying contentedly beside Zara, approached our team with curiosity, not hostility, despite our alien nature. Commander Thaler's projection flickered. Dr. Solara, are you suggesting these animals are predisposed to bond with any sentient species? Not predisposed, Liam interjected from the human delegation. Trained and socialized, dogs, for instance, see their human families as their pack. That instinct can extend to other species with proper socialization. The chamber buzzed with murmurs. The crystalline delegates' form shimmered with agitation. This implies humans could integrate us into their social structures, it said. Exactly, Dr. Eloria said, stepping forward. This isn't just about animals. It's about humanity's capacity for interspecies diplomacy. Their empathy could reshape galactic relations. Dean Valther, head of xenobiology, rose slowly, his expression heavy. For 50 years, I've studied interspecies interactions as competitive and resource-driven. Humans have proven me wrong. Their model of cooperation and empathy is unprecedented. He turned to Vryn. High Counselor, I resign my position. My assumptions have been fundamentally flawed. The chamber gasped. Vryn raised her staff for silence. Dean Valther, your resignation is noted, but we must focus on the opportunity before U.S. Humanity offers a new paradigm for interspecies cooperation. Liam raised his hand. If I may, High Counselor, humans would be happy to share our knowledge. But it requires patience, respect, and genuine care for the other party's well-being. Dr. Eloria proposed a bold plan. I suggest an interspecies cooperation institute, co-led by humans and galactic scientists, to study and apply these principles across the galaxy. The vote was unanimous. As the session closed, Liam approached the podium. One last thing, he said, smiling. Dr. Marquez asked me to invite you to meet Macha, our therapy bear. He's great with new species. Vryn's eyes widened. A bear. And that's why we keep bears as pets, Liam said with a grin. The chamber fell silent, but for the first time, the silence was one of wonder, not fear. Dean Valther's resignation was accepted with a nod and a faint, hopeful smile. Months later, the Interspecies Cooperation Institute opened on a neutral space station orbiting the Zenari system. Human scientists, including Elena and Liam, worked alongside galactic researchers like Vixel, who had become an advocate for human methods after his encounter with Jasper. The Institute's first project was a pilot program pairing galactic volunteers with Earth animals. Vixel, now a senior researcher, worked with a golden retriever named Sunny, learning to interpret her playful barks and gentle nudges. She trusts me, he reported, his voice filled with awe. And I trust her. Across the galaxy, delegates began experimenting with human principles of empathy and cooperation. The Veltari, once fiercely territorial, established a sanctuary for a native avian species, mimicking human wildlife rehabilitation centers. The Krillians, despite their gaseous forms, found ways to interact with small mammals, discovering the calming effects of physical contact on Earth. Zara and Jasper welcomed a delegation of Zenari researchers to Willow Creek Park. As Jasper chased a frisbee under the watchful eyes of alien guests, Zara explained, "It's not about control. It's about partnership. We learn from each other." High Counselor Vryn, observing via hologram, nodded slowly. "Perhaps," she said, "humanity's greatest strength is not their technology or their resilience, but their ability to love across boundaries." And so, the galaxy began to change not through conquest or competition, but through the simple, profound act of friendship.